Sounds wonderful. It's great to meet you. Thank you so much for taking a minute out today.
It's amazing to meet you as well. Super
Yes.
excited.
So let's begin our journey into your work by asking you this. 5 years ago, this pandemic was changing our lives, rearranging everything. How did you ultimately make it through that time period, and how has it changed the way that you do things now?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. Let me give you a little bit backstory on that, right? So
Sure.
I come from a corporate world, and then I launched my first company. This was pre-pandemic in 2015. And right about the time when COVID happened, I've had a successful exit before I sold my previous company. But around that time when I got my company acquired, and this was also around the time when COVID-19 happened, a lot changed for me internally. And I really wanted to do something more meaningful, something more purposeful in life, and that inspired me to launch my current company, which is Faro.
So let's get into exactly what you do on a daily basis with your company. I'm going to put you in front of a bunch of 12-year-olds at a grade school. It's career day, and a kid is just like, hey, what do you do for a living? How do you answer them?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's perfectly in line because I have a 12-year-old.
Okay.
My daughter is 12, so that's amazing. And she's so well connected to what I do. She's super active with me. So I'm sure like a lot of 12-year-olds know Stanley cups nowadays. They are crazy about like all of these Stanley and Owala cups. So what I have done is there are like so many reusable cups in the market today, but they're not really very portable. They are super bulky and oversized. So I have invented a collapsible version of a double steel cup, which is like made out of double wall steel and it is insulated, provides durability, but at the same time allows people to have a very portable version of the cup when they're not using it. And when they want to use it, they can expand it to a full size cup.
Wow, how did you come up with that?
So I really like came through my own experience. I'm a big coffee lover and I'm a big sustainability advocate. So, around the time when COVID-19 happened, I was just touching a little bit on that before. When COVID-19 happened, I really wanted to launch a brand which was mission driven, something which has like a purpose behind it. And I was sitting at a cafe and I saw that everyone sitting over there had a reusable cup for their water needs, but for coffee they would resort to a single use at
Yeah.
Starbucks. And it really made me think. I thought about it that why is it that everyone I know owns like multiple coffee like water bottles, but they never bring it and they never bring it for their coffee needs. And the reason I thought was because for something like coffee, that takes just a few minutes to consume, you don't want to carry a big bulky cup with you for the whole day. And that's where I got my idea of launching a very portable version of a steel cup that allows people to have that premium feel. It allows durability, insulation, but at the same time offers them a very convenient way to carry it with them all the time. And that's where I got my idea for my current company.
That's excellent. So when you were 12 years old, what did you want to be? What was your dream job?
It's very interesting. Like, when I go back, like just last week, I was going through my garage where I saw my old diaries that I used to write, like, things I wanted to be. And I come from a very entrepreneurial background. My dad, my grandfather was an entrepreneur. My dad is also an entrepreneur. So naturally, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I always wanted to start something of my own, like build something, leave a legacy behind. That's what I wanted to do.
So take me back to where you were born and raised, and what were the seeds that were planted for entrepreneurship, to want more, to invent, to come up with these ideas? How did this happen?
So when I was little, so my grandfather did like multiple business. Some of them failed, some of them did okay. And then so I was born in India, and my father has a factory in India that is doing pretty well right now. Like we have a lot of global clients. So when I was little, I it was very natural for me to get into entrepreneurship because like I saw my dad, like our dinner table was all about brainstorming different things, discussing what's going on in his factory, how his hard work is actually helping a lot of employees of him to kind of raise their families. And I was deeply impacted with the kind of work that he was doing and how much hustle he was doing to kind of make things work and so much hard work that goes. I think like I was just like genetically like that a little bit, and also a lot of like influence that I had growing up, seeing my dad into all this, that had a huge impact on what who I am today.
So,
Totally big
so
place.
talk to me a little bit about like when did you realize being an entrepreneur, coming up with this revolutionary idea for a cup? When did you realize it was a good idea? Was there someone that kind of gave you the green light or said this is what was that moment where you were confirmed it made sense?
Totally. So, yeah, I mean, being an entrepreneur, we are always very biased about what we want to do, right? And
Yeah.
we know that this is going to work, but that's not always the case. And I knew that this is a very different idea, but it would take a lot of money and time to launch it. And before we really get all in, I wanted to make sure that we get some product validation, market validation for it. So what I did was I launched on a crowdfunding platform, which is Kickstarter and Indiegogo. And what we did was we had a prototype when we launched, pretty much had a working prototype when we launched. And I wanted to see how people respond to it. So launching on crowdfunding gave us a really good data because we got viral. We got viral on crowdfunding. We were able to raise $220,000 in just 30 days, selling out like about 8,000 cups in just 30 days, which really, really proved the market for us. We got a lot of confidence from it that this is something people would want to have, and it's worth spending all the time and money in it. And not just that, we also got the capital in with all the pre-orders, which helped us.
That's huge. I love these Kickstarter campaigns because I come from jazz radio and a lot of musicians will do that to finance their albums. And it's has to be such a wonderful feeling to not only have a great idea, but you have all of these people that have completely backed it before you've even launched it.
100%. It's one of the best models, I think, especially when you're trying something so different. It's great because it not just gives you the capital for it, it gives you the market validation, it gives you early customers who can give you feedback on how things are. And really, like from where we started to we sent out surveys, like sent out like tons and tons of surveys and got feedback from it. Using that feedback, we were able to make our product better. So we made a lot of changes to the product based on customer feedback. And really, this is what got us from where we started to our final product now.
So do you have a prototype with you right now?
I do actually. This is our, one second. My real cups are downstairs, but
Yeah.
this is how it is.
Okay.
You can see it.
Yeah. And then it just
Um,
goes down.
Yeah, and it goes down to about 2 inches. So when you use it, it's about 15 ounces. And this is really our old prototype. If I knew I would bring the new 5 colors. We just got like 5 colors
Oh, cool.
recently.
Yeah. It just
Yeah,
goes down like that. So
yeah.
what will the what how much is that going to cost?
So this is gonna cost 49.99,
Okay.
and it is so it's 2 inches when you're not using it. It
Yeah.
expands to a 15-ounce cup. It
Yeah.
locks. So once you lock it, it's 100% leak-proof. And we have patents in 5 countries. I've applied for design patents in 5 countries. Out of those, 4 countries have been approved. And we have utility patents pending in the US, which I filed last year, from converted the provisional into a patent. And we're hoping that by the end of the year, we'd get the utility patent as well.
So when there's going to be a lot of people that are going to get this cup and they're going to be like, "Wow, this is a great idea. Who came up with it? How did they come up with it?" So my question to you is this: what invention have you bought in your life where you were like, "What were they thinking? This is so cool." Like, was there an invention that you bought that you were in that boat where you looked at it and thought, this is amazing. Who did this?
Yeah, I mean, I am like inspiration. I would say like I'm a huge fan of Sarah Blakely and the kind of work she has done, and love all her posts. I get heavily inspired by what she's done, and how she literally bootstrapped a company and made it such a big thing. So yeah, Spanx is one of my biggest inspiration in what I'm doing today.
So who would you consider a hero or an inspiration that's allowed you to get to this point in your life of funding this campaign, having this invention, being an entrepreneur? Who has been that fuel for you?
So I mean, motivation wise, it's Sarah Blakely because I read
Yeah,
a lot about her.
sure.
In my real life, I think my dad is my hero because he's worked for 40 years. He's been like really working on his factory. Now we have like great clients like Tesla and Snyder. Like, it's really a global business, something that he started with very humble background. And literally like personally seen him hustle like crazy. We've gone through so many like really tough days as well. But yeah, so he is my real hero. Every time I look at him, I'm like, if he can do it, I can do it.
So at this point in your life as an entrepreneur, the one thing about being an entrepreneur is risks. Taking
Mhm,
risks,
mhm.
it's the cornerstone. What's the biggest risk that you've taken up to this point in your career?
So the biggest risk that so I left my corporate job.
Yeah.
That was and this was long back in 2015. I was in investment banking for 7 years before I got into entrepreneurship. And that is like leaving your corporate career, a very high paying career, was like a very tough call for me. But I think because I was so passionate about it and I knew that, I wanted something which makes a difference in my life. I wanted to build something. I wanted to do something which was different. And at some point of my life, I think the corporate was not giving me the motivation. The money was not the only motivation in my life. And that's where I thought like I took a big risk with my career. And that was like, and everything that I do today is to make sure that I do justice to the risk that I've taken.
So, what is the motivator for you to get up every day to do this work that you do at a high level, take care of yourself, your family, all of these things? What's that collective energy for you every day?
So the biggest motivator is to build something, take it from here to something really big, and set an example to my kids that if you really believe in something, if you work hard, you would see it come through. That's something that keeps me going because my kids are watching me every day. They're watching me, so I really want to make sure that I'm setting a right example in front of them, and that keeps me going.
So, if you were to have a dream tonight, you ran into the 18-year-old version of you, ready to charge out into the world and change things, and you could give that version of you a piece of advice based on this life you've lived, the wisdom you've accumulated over your career, what advice would you give?
So if I go back, I feel like there are so many things that I've learned in life over time. When I was 18, I used to think that the smartest kid in my class would probably be the best and the most successful. But I think over time, what I've learned is it's not the person who has the greatest IQ, or it's not the person who's pretending or being smartest in the class. I think it's your perseverance and grit that keeps you going. It's people who can like fall 100 times and still get up every day, show up for their work every day, are the people who can make a difference. It's really those kind of people who can take big risks and stay put and keep going no matter what comes their way is are the people who can make a difference.
So, if you were to walk into a room of everybody that was a part of this Kickstarter campaign, that knows you as the entrepreneur, as the leader of this charge, and you could walk to the front of that room and tell them a fun story about your life, maybe the first concert you went to, a really cool travel experience, jumping out of an airplane, just a fun story that would kind of humanize you a little bit to that room. And they would see you in a little different light. What would be a fun story that you could tell that room?
Hmm. Fun story. That's, I don't know if it's a fun story, but last week I pitched the Sharks. I got this really good opportunity to kind of be part of a pitch competition where I was put in front of Damon John, Laurie Grenier, and Simulu, and like some really cool people. So
Yeah,
that was a very memorable experience, and it's very recent, so I'm really high on it right
yeah,
now.
totally.
But it's amazing.
That's cool. So let me ask you this. Of everything that you've done up to this point in your life, as far as accomplishments and evolution, what are you ultimately the proudest of?
Um, so the I'm really proud of the fact that I believed in myself, in something that I wanted to do. And yeah, I've gone through so many setbacks, which I think a lot of entrepreneurs, like it's a very hard journey. People go through things. You have to deal with a lot of no's, but I'm very proud of myself that I'm sticking to it, and I have the same amount of passion no matter what happens.
Yeah.
And it's those values which I feel very proud of. And I think everything that will happen out of it would be a consequence of the value. But yeah, so that's something which I believe I didn't always have that in me, but I've and it also pushes me to kind of get out of my comfort zone. There are so many things which was not a natural skill for me, but I've really like stretched myself in that regard and learned a lot of skills. So, yeah.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. Everyone has a perception of you, family, friends, everybody on the Kickstarter campaign investing, everybody that knows you, but you run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
Um, so I am a person who would not give up. I'm a fighter. That's who I am. I may not have all the skills, but I am always ready and always willing to learn. And I would do anything that would take it, that it would need to kind of, make this work.
So if anybody wants to pick up a cup, they want to get on the list, they want to order one, they want to reach out to you, any of the good business in your world, where do they go? Is it called Faro?
Yeah, it's called Faro.
Faro.
Farogear.com is the website.
Okay.
And we are currently out of stock,
Okay.
but next month we're getting 5 different colors. So yeah, they can go to farogear.com right now. Probably they can put it on their email list.
Okay. Excellent. I will put links in the show notes. This has been wonderful. Thank you so much. Best of luck with the release of this. I really appreciate your time today.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure talking to you, Joe.
Thank you.